Hello and welcome to Lister LD1 Restoration Part 23, which we hopefully should call this the final episode. So, right then, here's the engine. A few little jobs left to do. Put oil in the sump, put diesel in it and tighten up the flywheel nut. I had to try and find my adapter for my torque wrench. So I've got that. So the big socket for it. Inch and that's 2.25 inches that socket is, and that fits the flywheel nut just fine. So you've got to tighten up with 200 foot-pounds of torque. I put oil in it and I put diesel in it, and we'll put oil in the air filter of course. And once that's done, we'll go for a run. So what I'll do is I'll just set up the torque wrench quickly, and I'll see if I basically get the gist of it, and I'll show you what to do. If you look in my other episode, there's another video of me before I restored this engine on tightening the flywheel up. So it's basically a run of that. So I'll start by setting the torque wrench. Right. I hope you can see that, but this is me tightening up the flywheel nut. I've got a nice long bar and I'm holding the flywheel still, covered in rags so I don't chip the paint too much. There's the nut on there. Put the foot there. I've got it set to 100 foot-pounds of torque. There we go. What's that set to? Probably just timed out, so we'll put that over 100 quickly. 90. Well, 110, that'll do it. Got about 200 anyway, so. Okay. Let's see what. Error. Okay. Right then, next one is I'm going to do it 150 this time. It's got to be at 200, so the manual says for the LRs. This is very similar. Some of you might have an analogue torque wrench, but this is what I've got. So if I got this one, I'll use this one. Some will prefer the analogue ones, but you can get much preciser torque on this one. So if I can. Okay, that's 153 there, a little bit over. Now we're going to go for the 200. This is the last bit. $190, we're getting there. There you go, 200. All done. Turn this off, let's automatically turn off, that will. Right there. Paint's in good still. A few odd chips, we can always touch them up. We're not looking too bad. Right, that's done. Now next job I'll just quickly go over here quickly for that bit. Now this is a little locking tab. You're meant to then just bash one of these over. That will hold that nut still. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to leave it like that for a minute. And then I'll run the engine, shut it off after a couple of minutes and check this nut. You can see where people have been here with chisels and everything. If I can, I might get a new one for it just to clean it up. But this one seems okay for a minute, so I'll leave that one be. So I might bash that over when I got oil in it. So first job now will be put oil in it. So yeah, I'll set up for oil in. Now I'm going to put oil in the engine. And you put oil in for the top. Dipstick's all down here. You can see that? There's the dipstick and the little brass thing at the bottom is the oil drain. So you want to make sure the oil drain's in. The dipstick. And there's a chap on YouTube, young chap, probably my age, who had an LD. And he couldn't work out what the dipstick meant. So I'll just explain that quickly for some of you in the dark. It's upside down there. See if I can put it that way around quickly. That'll focus. Don't think so, but there we go. You can see the stampings there. That says max. There's a flat area on the dipstick. See? Flat. Up to that top of that flat area is a maximum mark. Try not to go much higher than that. You probably allow a little bit, but not very much. And if you have no oil on the dipstick, and the maximum range is from there to the bottom of that dipstick. Below the anything, if it's not on the dipstick, there's too little oil. So the minimum is the end of the dipstick. On the newer type LDs or LRs, there's like a range below the bottom. So there's two lines saying this is between that's minimum maximum, and below that is too low. So it shows you how far too low you are. But basically, if there's no oil on the dipstick, it needs topping up. If you've just got oil on the dipstick, like a little smothering, like the end of it's dipping in, you're literally just in the zone, just. So I put more in. But as long as you're up to the top of this line up here, you're safe. So that's how the dipstick works. I'll just put that. I'll leave that in just like that. So any air that's in there can bubble out without going up through the funnel. So like modern cars, you put the oil in from the top. Not like Listers. Like the D's and everything, the CS's and what sort of jazz. So there's your funnel. I'll just give the funnel a good wipe quickly. Okay, I got a filter funnel. This is clean looking at it, believe it or not. It does fit in there nicely, like so. And what we do then is, the oil I've got, you can see that, 10W40. Cost me £15.50 this did. But there we go. I'm using 10W40. And basically, if you want this 10W explained, 10W40. The thicknesses are these two numbers. These are called multi-weight oils, I believe, multi-weight. 10W means 10 winter, W is 40. So in the winter it's like a 10W. So the colder it gets, the runnier it gets. The hotter it gets, the thicker it gets. Confusing, I must admit, but that's apparently how it works. So I'm no oil engineer, so I don't know what the exact temperatures are when it changes over. But I don't know what it says. Semi-synthetic, meets requirements, etc. 5 litres. Ideal for petrol, diesel engines, including turbo, fuel injection, and catalytic converters. But we don't have a turbo. We don't have any catalytic converters. But it's okay for diesels, so this will do. And in the manual it just says 10W, so we don't know what the other bit of the W is. So we're just going to put this in quickly. Just pour it in there, make sure it's not coming out the top. The great thing about this is it will lubricate the rockers and everything as it goes down, so that is really clever design by Lister. So it lubricates everything as it runs down. As long as you oiled it up when you put it together, this is like a final check sort of thing, this is. Right. Put that in it quickly. That probably seems like quite a lot actually. It's 2 litres of oil. I think I've probably put a bit too much. So I'll leave that like that quickly, and that'll run down. Quickly. Okay, move the camera over here. I'll just go get my trusty little thing. Nothing on a dipstick yet because it's got to run down. Just starting to come up the dipstick now. So if I leave that a minute, time for it to run down, I can put a little bit more in as and when it needs it. Right then, let's go clean up all this bit here, wipe that oil off. Rightio. Let's see how much oil I put in it. There's too much. Well, it's halfway up the dipstick. I believe these are quite a deep sump. But we'll leave that for a minute. What I am going to do actually quickly is I'm going to probably put some D's in it. So I'll find another funnel. If not, I'll have to use the same one, which is a bit of a problem. There's some fresh diesel in here, but we are well, actually, first thing is I'll pause it and I'll show you what the correct is, and I'll get the diesel done first afterwards. So okay, yeah. Here we are around back at the engine. As you see, here's the air filter, and I did actually overfill the engine slightly, but now at the moment it is literally just above the top of the max. I left it like that because it's got oil pump in this engine. Time it splashes oil up, it will lower down the main sump level. So we'll leave the oil pump bleed itself and everything. Everything's oiled, so hopefully the oil pump can help supply it in time. So we're just going to take the air filter apart now to put oil in this. Some have like a line on them to maximum. I think this one has got a marking on it. We'll have a look. On my older air filter there's a stamp on a line, but we'll have a look quickly. So I just pop these over here quickly. See if I can take the air filter apart without taking it off. No, it took it off. That's no good. It's a bit tight, this air filter is. There we go. Put this air filter back on. Right. I can put the oil mark. Let's put the oil level sign there. See the stamping? There's the oil level. So you want to go up to this line here. So here's the oil that was too much of the engine. So I'm just going to pour this in here first. Ooh. I want to go a little bit less. That there seems just about right. Yep, that's about right. You can see it looks alright to me. I'll pop the lid on this oil quickly. Well, there's the oil filter done. So I'll pop that back together and I will we'll put diesel in. Okay, if I bring it to the right height quickly, I'm going to put diesel in the engine. And we're going to bleed the fuel system. So if I pop that, there we go. Here's my can of diesel. First time I put diesel in the engine for a long time, 10 months I think. Started pulling this engine apart in February last year. I won't put too much in it, it's only 1.25 gallon fuel tank. It should be enough for that, I think. Let's hope. tank should be enough. Grab my rag quickly. There you go. Put that away in there. A minute, just let the can just drip off. No, unlike a petrol, it's not just a place of bleed it and away we go. Next job now, if I tickle the carb and away we go, I've got to bleed it. So I'll start doing that quickly. So I'll just slacken off the bleed nut itself before we even go anywhere. So lower you down a quick. I'll get you positioned up for the bleeding of the you'll see this okay, but there's the little bleed screw I'm using. You can use these other two, but I'm going to use these ones quickly for a minute. This is the highest point on the entire diesel line apart from the tank. So I'm just going to leave that off quickly. And that should bleed through. Hopefully. So I'll leave that bleed through. So that's probably going to take some time. Okay. So if I get my rag quickly, where do I put that to? Right, the messier state of it. Oh. There we go. Let's just stop the flow quickly. Diesel and everything. Fortunately, diesel does evaporate, so that's the only problem with this engine. It's going to be messy bleeding it. But so far it doesn't look too bad in the leak department. Right then, we'll leave that trickle to the pump quickly for a minute. I'll just nip up this bleed screw. There we go. And then we'll go from there. There's some form of it. There we go. Right then. Next job is I'll crank it over and see if we get it bleeding. Right, what we're going to do now is I'm going to crank the engine over and we'll see what happens. So I've got the fuel rack in the start position. So this brass thing, instead of up there, you've got to pull it out and bring it up. Flick the decompressor over. I'm just going to crank the engine over till we get an injector creak. It may look like we may have to take the cover off the fuel pump housing. We'll do that quickly and probably have a look and see if we can bleed it that way. If I can't get it going here quickly. So what we'll do is we'll quickly take the cover off there and we'll go from there quickly. Okay, it took a little bit longer than expected, but you can tell when the engine is bled. If I crank it over quickly, you should be able to hear it. And that there is called the injector creak. As you see, it actually does creak. And that shows us diesel going into the cylinder. So that's a good sign. Nice healthy injector creak, I think that sounds like, not being big-headed. So now I'm going to put this plate on over here and then we'll go for a start hub. Well, check the oil first and everything. But we'll just stick this plate on quickly, make sure everything's clean. So, there we go. Make sure your bleed screw on top of the injector pump is tight, which that one is. We don't want that leaking diesel into the oil. So I'll just pop that in there quickly. I was meant to have 4 of these little set screws holding it in, but I've only got 2 on my engine. Either they ran out of Lister, or they may have, I don't know, or someone thought, oh, they lost them during the working life of the engine, which is quite plausible. But as you can see here, now I will replace these with set screws at some point in the near future. But for the time being, that these will do. I'll just slacken these ones off again quickly. There we go. Right then. Should be the last time this cover comes off in a long time. Probably for diesel fuel changes. That'll be annually, I think. I'll do a video next year, I suppose, after this engine's been running. So I changed the diesel filter of this on the 31st of the 12th, which is okay. So I'll just get that started quickly. Now I want this engine done for a crank up on the 10th of January. It is now the 2nd. We are pushing it a bit tight, so if we can get it running today, we are laughing. What better way to start the year than completing the restoration project? And the next restoration project should be start again in February time, I think, after we got mock exams out of the way. That one will take a little bit longer, because if you look back at my previous videos, there was a Stuart Turner I won in a Facebook competition, and you saw 2 parts of me stripping it down, and then you suddenly saw this engine take over. Now, because the thing is, I was waiting for parts for that engine to be given to me at a rally, so I couldn't really do no more of that. So I thought I'd do this engine. So that's what I did. I did this engine up for the time it took the parts to come. The parts came on time, but the rally I wanted them to come. So I thought instead of leaving this one to the side, I thought I'll do this one now. So what I'll do is I'm going to get this engine, leave this engine, get it done up and running. We'll just do these ones up tightly. There we go. Hopefully. Right then. The next job will be to fire it up. So I'm just open the garage door and put it outside, just inside the garage door, as it is wet and horrible. So I'll do that quickly and we'll go for a fire up. Right, I hope you can hear me over the traffic. Just chop my wheels quickly, so we don't run away. Right, hope you can hear me over the traffic. There's the engine. And this is quite exciting, so this will be the first start of the engine. So I hope you're all excited as I am, because I'm pretty excited. Grab the handle to start a Lister LD. I got it slightly higher revs than what it usually is, running hopefully about 900, just so I can idle it down to 800 before. It's had new rings, it is a cold start. It's about 10 degrees outside, so it's not overly cold. Fuel pump racket in the start position. I'll give it about 4 cranks of the injector, so I'll put the decompressor over. I'll flip the decompressor over and see if she runs. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, there you saw it, she ran. She's quite a rattly trolley. I think she'd done a lot better on grass, I think. So I'll take her on some grass and give her a run. But you saw it, she ran. I slowed her down then, she's a little bit smoky, she's had new rings. So I'll find somewhere where it's a bit less rattly. I think the wheels are pretty... So I might have those bushed or something. We'll put washers in the pack them a bit, we've got no washers on at the moment. And yeah, so that's that. She's on the trolley and she is a runner. So I think I might show you from the back end of it firing up. And we'll see, she's a runner. Okay, this is going to be a warm start, as you just realised. I'm just going to check the flywheel and check the oil levels quickly. So I'll grab my ram quickly. See the oil levels. Because she's pumped it around. So I'll go over into the dipstick. Bang on the maximum mark, so we're looking at right lovely oil levels. Right. So I just move her back off the manhole cover. This wheel here's got no split pin on it, so I lost it, so I got to go get another one. And some washers, but we'll get those soon. So we're going to go for a warm start this time. So I might just I'll put her in the start position again. Handle on it. 1, 2, 3. Right, she's nice and warm now. I warmed up nice and quickly, I'm quite surprised. Well, she's a runner. And that, I should say, apart from all I've got to do now is I've got to make a key up for the stub axle shaft and all that sort of stuff. We'll put that on the engine. And get a bolt for the pulley. Put the transfers on, that'll be restoration complete. So it won't be yet for a while, but restoration, so Lister LD Restoration Part 24 should be the final episode of it, with the washers and everything, all these little niggly jobs finished off. But actually the best of it is done. So I'd like to say I hope you enjoyed the restoration series of this engine. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and it's all good fun. Hope you learned some tips from me and all that sort of stuff. Or just realised don't do an LD. If you want to know where some of the stuff came from, parts, paint, everything, just comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, as quick as I can usually. And yes, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.